after the massive nerf that got my Tyranids off the table for a while, 10th edition has dropped, and the new Tyranid info is out and available for free download, rather than the usual leaked prior to publication by NDA flouting scallywags. So, have the Tyranids evolved, as they did during the Octarius conflict, and emerged stronger, or have they remained stagnant, or are they emerging into this new tyrannic war enfeebled? Right, are you guys staying in the IKEA cabinet, or are you jumping in the guitar case and heading to the battlefield to slap your thirst for biomass? Army rules. Okay, no man, that's not a good start. Synapse. Now it just makes us a bit more resilient to battle shock. No more immunity to morale. Ugh. Mind you, it's not the runaway kind of morale thing anymore. The one I found so annoying because seeing bloodletters flee the battlefield from a failed roll. Dude, what? I mean, how does that even happen? But anyway, battle shock is now just objective control 0 and you can't use strats. Okay, 3d6 instead of 2d6 to test. This actually may be nifty, because we can snag objectives out from under stronger units because we're better at this test. Let's hope there's not too many other factions that can do this. Maybe demons get an extra roll as well, but we'll see. Shadow in the warp. No longer a psychic impediment. Rather, once per battle, you pop battle shock army-wide. That could be good. Time it right and you have a bunch of enemy on objectives or that you're contesting them, that could swing a turn wildly in your favour. Mid or late game when units are depleted for a better... No, oh wait, no. I don't think there are modifiers from, lost troops and such. But failure on battle shock denying the use of strats, like the Death Leaper used to do, that could be rather grand. That ability really helped me out on some occasions, and being able to deploy it now via battle shock, it stops any gotchas from taking away your takeover. Lore-wise, didn't the Shadow just blanket the world, made psychers go mental, everyone riven with nightmares, earthquakes and such? Maybe that is still the case, and this is where the whole swarm can clench their arse and give it a brain strain for a more potent burst of what they were generating anyways. Anyway, on the topic of objectives, I think this new mechanic will be a good one for us. Without Crusher Stampede, our monsters just counted as one, and a couple of troops with OBSEC just kicked them off control. With everything now having a value, and our big stuff having values higher than just 1, this could make snagging primaries a lot easier. We'll see. But no psychic anymore. No denies, no powers. I'll miss that. I liked having those 6 powers to pick from and assign with smite as a fallback. Oh crap, I just realised. No more catalyst to ensure a unit gets stuck in without taking too many losses. No more onslaught for advance and charge. And no more paroxysm to thwart Overwatch. I know everyone else is losing their psychic as well, but as a psychic-heavy faction, this could be a hell of a hit. My addiction to Catalyst and Onslaught will be a heavily felt loss. Hyper-adaptations. Okay. Wait, just 3? That's it? What, no Hive Fleets? Weak. I kinda liked that. Hive Fleets being engineered for specific purposes, like Kronos being ranged to tangle with Chaos. Oh well, what have we got? Mind you, from the 9th Codex, it was just Leviathan all the ways anyways with the transhuman Tyranid warriors, and even after they nerfed it, it was still the most tempting Hive Fleet, so maybe this is to prompt a little more variety, if 3 options can be considered variety. So first up, Swarming Instincts. Exploding 6s, an extra hit on a roll of 6 against infantry or swarms. Hyper Aggression, auto wound on a 6 against monsters or vehicles, and Hive Predators. 6s allow you to ignore Lookout Sir and hammer a character directly. That's going to need a lot of attacks, which means gaunts, which means we'll have to do something else to help them get through a character's inevitably beefy armor. Overall, though, not bad. Very simplified, but not bad. Out of all the dynamics, I think they got it right the first time. The Octarius Synaptic Link, channeling up the chain. Each beastie with its own power that it can funnel to the desired bioform. Stratagems. I was disappointed to see the Hive fleet powers stripped down, but I'm okay seeing the strats stripped down to just these, because a bunch of them were bioform specific anyway, and so you might as well have just slotted them on the datasheet, and at times there's just been way too many. Rapid regeneration. 1 unit gets a 6 up to ignore wound loss, 5 up if within synapse, so a weedy version of the Zoanthrope synaptic imperative on just a unit, but still pretty good to make a frontline unit hold out a little longer. Actually, it's Catalyst. Catalyst with no casting and no deny. Oh, I like that. Death Frenzy. When about to get your ass kicked, each destroyed Tyranid gets to fight again on a 4-up. That could take a nice chunk out of a victorious unit to make that victory a little more ferric. Adrenal Surge. 2 units in Synapse auto wound on a 5-up. Might be nice for a big swarm of gaunts, especially if they are taking on tougher stuff. The armor save will likely soak it up, but still, getting over that first hurdle would be useful. Overrun. The one-time glory of the flying Hive Tyrant. In the fight phase, 6-inch consolidate instead of 3. Meh. Might be good to swamp with gaunts, but if within synapse and not in engagement, a move of 6 inches instead of consolidate. That's pretty good. Synaptic Insight. 2 units get another hyper adaptation in addition to the one you picked for the whole game. Now that's fabulous. Pick your main one for the majority of the foe, so for something like, I don't know, Imperial Guard, if they are infantry heavy, go Swarming Instincts, and then use this to get hyper aggression if you get into their armor, or Hive Predators if you get near their characters. Endless Swarm. 2 Endless Multitude units in Synapse get D3 plus 3 back. Gaunts, Gargoyles, and the new ones, the Neurogaunt. That's 8 to 12 back in the game for a CP. Yum yum! Enhancements. I guess these are the new Warlord traits, and we have 3 max of these and they can only go on characters. Okay, 2 relics and 2 traits replaced by 3 of these. Let's see what we got. Alien Cunning. Redeploy 3 units or put them in reserve. That could be handy. Deploy to coax your enemy into dropping things in certain places and then shuffle things around. Or if they place things that are going to vaporize one of your units, extract them safely into reserve. Perfectly adapted. 1 reroll to hit, wound, damage, advanced charge or saving throw. Hive Tyrant. This one is all yours, buddy. Synaptic Linchpin. This bug gets 9 inches of synapse instead of 6. Might be handy to keep that battle shock at bay. Maybe the Tyranid Prime or the winged version should get this. Anyway, Adaptive Biology. 5 up to ignore wound loss, 4 up if wounded. Very nice. That is quite tanky indeed. Okay, I might put this on a Turvagon up front and spawning continuously. The Neurotyrant is good, but squishy, this could be another benefactor. Right, onto the bioforms. No points yet, so it's hard to see what's really good, because it could have great stats, but cost a fortune, or it could have good stats and be really cheap. The Winged Hive Tyrant. And with relics gone, poop, no more Reaper of Obliterax, no more Resonance Barb. I'm not too miffed about that. They could be kind of gotcha-y, some weird fudgy obscure thing popping up on your foe, countering or buffing out of the blue. That was annoying, but it did add a little more flavour to the lists. Anywho, they're gone and they ain't coming back. The Flappy Fellow has lost 4 inches of move, yikes. It's gained 2 toughness, lost a couple of wounds, gained a point of save, lost 3 leadership. Now that's a surprise for something that's supposed to be the boss bug. The Venom Cannon is D3 rather than 3 attacks, and is down a pip of damage and AP. The Bone Sword and Lash Whip is twin-linked for re-rolling to wound. Will of the Hive Mind. Ooh, a free stratagem once per turn. Now that's nice, especially because starting CP is going way down. And its Psychic is now just a single ability. 12 inches, on a 1, the Tyrant takes D3 mortals, on a 2-up, -1 attacks on an enemy unit. Not bad. Slowing up a Chopfest unit or squad of elites is decent. The Walking Hive Tyrant is down a point of move, so it's more of a strolling Hive Tyrant now. It also has Will of the Hive Mind, like its winged sibling, and Onslaught to make ranged weapons within 6 inches assault. So everything following him in can shoot even if they advanced. Not the old double jump it used to have, but still, better than nothing. Tyranid warriors chasing after it with death spitters and venom cannon blazing, maybe even a round 1 move for your artillery. Exocrine, biovores, give them a big move and they can still shoot before digging in to remain stationary and get that sweet +1 to hit. And it can be attached to Tyrant Guard. We'll have to see if that's a good thing or not, depending on what's happened to our big burly bullet magnets. Swarmlord! Looks like everything is getting slower. This lad has lost a point of move, gained 2 toughness, lost 3 leadership, lost 3 wounds. Way hey, he has some actual ranged. Now that's a surprise. 18 inches and torrent for auto hit. Hive Commander for gain a command point in the command phase. Damn! So basically what? Swarmlord doubles your CP gain for the game, if you can keep him active, and for the 8 to 12 back from the dead from Endless Multitudes, unless he costs a fortune, I can see him being an auto-take despite his lower wounds and less devastating weapons. Malign Presence to make an opponent's strat more expensive for the game. Ouch! That could be a real bastard if they have a go-to strat that they depend on, something like Transhuman, and if that's been doubled for the game, that's gonna sting. And it's got 9-inch synapse. Okay, Swarmlord, you are looking rather fetching. We'll see what the points hit is like, but I really like this lad as is. Broodlord, lost the wound and 3 leadership, but otherwise unchanged. Claws and talons, less AP, but 6s are mortal, and you can reroll to wound. Oof, this fella just got a lot more dangerous in combat. Scout gives it an 8-inch move at the start of the battle. It gives its Gene Stealer flunkies, 6s go mortal, and an enemy unit gets -1 to hit. I do believe it might be time to dust off the Broodlord. If the Gene Stealers are okay, this is going to be a solid pick. Winged Tyranid Prime, one of the new creatures, the one that tore a Terminator in half in the trailer. Double the move of a Tyranid Prime, otherwise the same except for the usual -3 leadership and -1 save. No weapon options, just talons, giving exploding 6s to the unit it's leading, and it fights on death. Okay, it can lead gargoyles, that's better, because that 12-inch move is bloody useless if it's stuck with ground-based slogging along Tyranid warriors. If they re-release Shrikes again at some point, that would be awesome. A flying prime leading flying warriors. Tervagon, holy moly! Toughness 8 to toughness 11, but lost a wound and 3 leadership. Massive crushing claws are weaker, no longer double, so rather than 14 strength, it's a flat 12, -3 AP instead of -5, still pretty good, and D6 +1 instead of D3 +3 damage. The massive scything talons, they now go sweep, which is a strength higher but lost an AP, and strike, a strength lower, 2 AP lower, D6 instead of 2D3 damage. Oh man, it no longer generates a freebie unit, and instead of regenerating 2d6 Termagants, it's D3 +3. Okay, you are going to get less, but it is more reliable to get better quantity, and it does give Termagants within 6 inches auto wound on a 6. I'm torn on this one. It's lost Wall of Flesh, so it's got a huge bullseye on it. Opponents are going to open up on this thing to stop it restoring gaunts, especially with the little fellows auto-wounded on 6s. But with the change to terrain rules, it's only aircraft and towering that don't get cover, I think. It's no longer based on wounds. So, can this lass actually lurk in cover now? Anyway, old One Eye. Okay, let's get this out of the way. He's sucked for ages because of high cost. Great lore, great background, too many points for what you get. So even if its stats rule, if the trend continues, he'll be too costly to pick. 2 more toughness, 1 more leadership, the Warlord trait of adaptive biology for 5 up ignore wound loss, and that's now baked in for free as a core ability. Alpha Leader is now re-rolled to hit rather than +1 attack. Armored Exoskeleton is gone, so no more -1 damage, but I think that's game-wide now. Berserk Rampage is gone, so no more extra attacks on the charge, and he does still regenerate D3 wounds per turn. The Towel is gone, and the Claws and Talons are now sweeps and strikes, and are pretty much the same, just a little less AP. Again, seems to be something everyone's getting. Tyranid Warriors, the one-time golden boys of the swarm. 2 less leadership, but otherwise the same. The ranged weapons, they are ballistic skill 4 instead of 3. The Strangler, d6 plus 1 rather than d6 attacks. Nice. Everything else looks the same. Venom Cannon, my favourite. Ballistic skill 4, not 3. Strength 9, not 8. 1 less AP, same damage. The Death Spitter, just 1 less AP. Devourer, the same. Spine Fists, less strength, less AP, but they do reroll to wound. Bioweapons, wait, what? No claws, no talons, no bone swords? Oh, wait, no, I get it. You either go ranged or melee, no more mix and match. The ranged warriors get shoot and charge after falling back, and the same 1 big gun per 3 warriors. So let's take a look at these melee warriors. The bioweapons are overall weaker. No extra strength, minus 2 AP instead of minus 4 for the claws. Damage 1, not 2 like the swords. No additional attacks. But they are twin linked to reroll to wound. And they can either have reroll 1s to hit or reroll 1s to save. Okay, this one will be heavily dependent on points cost. But overall, wait. I actually kind of really like this. I didn't magnetize my Tyranid warriors. So other than the, arse, or minor guns and swords, crap. So technically I don't have any melee warriors. Unit composition, 1 Tyranid Prime. Wait, where's the Foot Prime stats? Did they not include it, or is he just a standard warrior now? I think they may have just missed this one. I'm curious what its abilities will be. Hopefully, if it is missed and is included later, hopefully as, I know, exploding 6s in melee like the Synaptic Imperative Goaded to Slaughter used to. Termagants, same stats, but 3 extra leadership. Flesh Borers, no AP, otherwise the same. Looks like toxin sacs and adrenal glands are gone as an option. And these lads, if an enemy ends up within 9 inches of them and not in engagement, they can move d6. Nice. Melt away a little and screw over the chance of a charge. Roll pretty well and you can basically deny a charge and on your turn open up with the ranged weapons. Nasty. Plus endless multitudes to regenerate and maybe the Tervagon as well. If the Tervagon can indeed hide in Obscuring now, it can just replenish these guys who can retreat and avoid being engaged or tar pit an advancing unit. I don't know, they could be good. Hormagaunts, exactly the same, 3 more leadership, but rather than extra piling, they can advance and charge. Nice, I really like that. I know I mewed about losing Onslaught, but I always cast it on these guys anyways to launch them across the board, and now they have it innate. Hell yeah! Depending on price, a couple of units of these fellas to give the midfield both barrels. Gargoyles, 3 more leadership, otherwise the same, and they can be led by the winged Tyranid Prime, and they now get the blinding venom as innate rather than a strat you have to spend CP on. But instead of -1 to hit and no rerolls, it's a single strength 3 melee attack. Also, after shooting, so long as they are not in engagement, they can move up to 6 inches. They can't charge, but it could get them on an objective or retreat to try and stop them being engaged. Looks like they remain the flap around quickly filling holes or grabbing things that they always were. Except now you can puff them up with a far cheaper winged Tyranid Prime than having to waste a far more expensive Synapse creature on them. Anyway, Tyrant Guard, 2 more toughness, 3 more leadership. Lost a point of armor though. The weapons are pretty much the same, except they get reroll to wound. The crushing claws are no longer double, no more +1 attack when in the shadow of the tyrant. I think the guardian organism thing is irrelevant now anyway, because Look Out Sir has been replaced with the leader keyword, which isn't confined to under a certain wound score. So leaders of a unit cannot be targeted without precision or similar stuff. Plus, the guard give the tyrant a 5-up ignore wound loss. Okay, these still seem like an auto ad for the tyrants. Neurotyrant, the thing that blasted the librarian in the trailer. Was that an accurate depiction of this thing's abilities? Let's see. Kinda slow, okay toughness, okay wounds, not great armor, but it does have an invuln save. Psychic Scream is pretty nice, but it's a bit swingy on the attacks, but they do auto hit and ignore cover. When leading, +1 to hit, and if battle shocked, +1 to wound. -1 battle shock when popping shadow in the warp. That's very tempting. I haven't seen anything so far that assists battle shock rolls, so being able to diminish them, that's potent. And 2 units within 12 inches are considered in synapse until your next command. So that's what those little 2 floaty things were next to it. I was hoping they were like familiars, stores of power, lenses to refine psychic, or just defense drones to intercept incoming. But I'll take traveling synapse blobs, good for granting synapse for quick units that you can catapult in, like gargoyles. And if they take a bit of a kicking, they should be okay riding out battle shock and keeping the objective and receiving strats to buff them up and keep them there. It can lead Neurogons and it can lead Tyrant Guard. Nice! Tyrant Guard with +1 to hit, this thing making battle shock more likely, so +1 to wound when that happens, +5 up to ignore wound loss from the guard. Again, I wonder what the points will be for this fellow, but for abilities, it's looking very tempting. Plus, it looks like a fun model to paint. Lictor, 2 inches slower, 1 toughness higher, 1 less leadership, 1 less wound, 1 less AP on the talons, but with precision, 6s can target characters leading a unit. Cool. It still has the invuln save, and the chameleonic skin benefits are the same thanks to the core abilities. Hidden Hunter is now Infiltrators. Feeder Tendrils, the secondary of Cranial Feasting, is built into the Lictor. But now, rather than a roll, killing a character is an auto command point. Ooh, baby! Also, rapid ingress is free, excellent. Fights first takes priority over charging, so that's even better. Okay, I like the look of the new Lictor, with the Hive Tyrant using strats for free, Swarmlord giving you more command points, and this fellow topping you up as well. We could be in a position to spend! Death Leaper, same as the Lictor, slower, less toughness, 1 less attack, 1 less AP, feeder tendrils for command point gain, but fear of the unseen and it's out there are replaced with -1 leadership and battle shock tests if under half strength, which I guess gets you a shot at its old ability of no using strats. Not as much of a boost as the Lictor, but still okay. We'll see what the points are like. And it's epic hero. Death Leaper or a Swarmlord, and it's only marginally better than a Lictor. Sorry, Death Leaper, I think this may be a pass. Maleceptor, the one-time mortal wound meat grinder. 3 more toughness, 1 less wound, 3 less leadership. Psychic Overload has lost mortal wounds, but gained blast, and it's D6 + 3 strength 10, damage 3 hits. Encephalic Diffusion is no longer a power, it's an aura, and it's -1 to hit rather than -1 strength, and if under half strength, -1 to wound as well. Meh. Pyrovores, a point more toughness, 1 less wound, 3 more leadership. Fists are now limbs, weapon skill 4 rather than 3, 1 less strength and 3 less AP. Flame Spurt is not spray or gout, it's just 1 option, so the same range as spray, D6 + 1 rather than D6 hits, 1 less AP, 2 damage rather than 1, auto hit, ignores cover though, and you can re-roll to wound. And select 1 enemy you've shot, and they lose cover for the phase. Now that's interesting. Shoot first with these guys, strip a unit of cover, and then open up with the other ranged weapons. I may have to get some Pyrovores. Haruspex, 3 more toughness, 1 less wound, 1 more leadership, lost a point of armor. The tongue is now D6 + 1 damage rather than a flat 3. It lost Ignore Lookout Sir, it's been reduced to precision to nail a character on a 6. The Maw is 1 less attack, the Shoveling Claws can be used in addition to the Maw, and are D6 + 1 damage rather than D3 + 3. Grisly Spectacle is now Battle Shock if casualties were taken rather than -2 leadership, and it's lost its regeneration ability. Lame. Venomthropes, one of my staples. 2 inches slower, 1 less wound, 3 more leadership. Grasping Tendrils are gone, Foul Spores is now cover instead of -1 to hit, but the -1 to hit within 6 inches of the Venomthropes remains thanks to them granting stealth. Okay, still solid. The Von Ryan Leapers, pretty quick, okay profile, an invuln, and 3 heroic interventions. Meh, Sot's still firmly on with these boys. Points value will determine if I buy any. Another newbie, the Neurogaunt, good for extending synapse. Again, let's see the points cost, but not really that blown away by them. Also, what are Nodebeasts? Like the Tyranid Prime, were these just accidentally not included in this release? Zoanthropes. Slower, one less wound. Warp Blast is now an attack. Weak. If it's focused, 6 is auto wound. Sorry, just not a good substitute for mortal wounds with Smite. Weaker claws. Spirit Leech, but it's D3 mortal wounds on a unit that fails a battle shock test within 6 inches, and they regenerate D3 wounds from that. Plus, their lost synaptic imperative is now an aura, for a 6-up invuln while within 6 inches of the Zoanthropes. That's rather nice. Okay, the Neurothrope can lead them to escape being targeted, unexpected. Okay, these are looking good despite all the losses. Gene Stealers, fingers crossed. I like the Broodlord. Let's see what its lads are like. Better weapon skill. They've gained a wound. Very nice. So what, they're now on par with a Space Marine? 1 less leadership, 1 less AP, a flat 5-up invul, not 4-up in melee. Vanguard Predator at 9 inches is now Scout at 8 inches, very good, more likely to pull off the charge. Insidious Infestation is gone, they now get reroll wound roll of 1, and a flat out reroll if the opponent is on an objective. Okay, dusting off the Broodlord and my Gene Stealers after all. If the points are okay, these fellows will definitely be all over the place again, stealing everyone's genes. Raveners, 2 less move, yuck. 1 less wound, lame. 3 more leadership, and now the only weapons are claws and talons. 3 more attacks, rending claws, and that sweet AP -4 is gone. Ranged attack is a 3-shot devourer, now with the Spine Fist range. Ultra lame. No rerolls, no -1 to hit, you can chuck them in reserve at the end of your opponent's turn. Unless these are super cheap, these boys are going into retirement. A shame, I really like the models. Mini Morlocks. The Humble Ripper Swarm. Less toughness, 2 more attacks, and maybe 3 Spine Maws. Burrow and Squirm is replaced by half objective control. If they actually had an objective control of their own, I'd be impressed, but no. Wait, can be equipped, so it looks like Spine Maws will still have to be paid for. The fellow who injects you with the Rippers, the Parasite of Mortrex. 4 less move? That ain't good. Makes those strafing runs less likely. 1 less wound, claws are the same. Ovipositor, strength has been halved, but 3 damage instead of 1. It's -1 to hit it with ranged if more than 12 inches away, -1 to hit from stealth. It's got deep strike. Parasitic infection. Okay, this actually got better. Each kill is D3 swarms within 3 inches. No rolling to see if they are created or not, which was 50-50 with the old profile. It itches is no longer loss of obsec, rather 1 enemy within range must make a battle shock test. Oh wait, it also lost synapse. Super weak. The Morlock. Oh, hello. Looks like my favourite model is going to be coming out to play. Same move, 3 more toughness, 2 less wounds. The -1 to hit is gone, but that stupid terror from the deep is now back to how it used to be. Straight up causing mortals to the vicinity when it bursts up from the ground. The talons are a point stronger and a point better AP. Very, very nice. Tail options are gone. The jaws are no longer mortals per se, it's mortals on a 6, and anti-infantry on a 4-up. This fellow is looking very tempting. The Trigon. 3 more toughness, the pulse is 2 less attacks, but each 6 is 2 extra hits, so they might be recovered back to normal with that. Toxin spike is gone, the claws are 2 more strength, 1 less AP, but 1 more damage. And it can pop up 3 inches from the enemy, but cannot charge, unless it's over 9 inches from the foe. Mucilid spores, pretty much the same. Spore mines, the same. Exocrine, one of my favourites. Great model, and they've always been awesome artillery. 2 more toughness, so you're gonna need the big guns to tackle them. 1 less armour, 1 less wound. Powerful limbs are the same, but for 1 less AP. Okay, the real star of this show, the Bioplasmic Cannon. D6 +3 rather than D3 +6, so a little more swingy. 1 less AP, still blast though, +1 to hit is stationary, so a 2 up to hit, and instead of ignore cover, a unit that's been hit, all the other Tyranids get reroll 1s to hit. Very nice. Very, very nice. I might be back to fielding 3 of these bad boys, points depending. Pyrovores strip you of cover, these guys improve the chance to hit, warriors and termagants riddle you with all sorts of nasty flesh-eating critters. Continuing with the artillery, the hideously nerfed and rather goofy looking Biovore. 1 more toughness, but the launcher, instead of a single mortal, it can do indirect blast damage with 6s going mortal. It can still seed 1 spore mine per Biovore as they used to, and looks like having to pay for them might be gone. Sweet! Floaty brain bombs may be back on the menu. Carnifex, 2 more toughness, 1 less wound. I've already covered most of the weapons, but there's still a few to check out. Bioplasma is 1 point stronger, 1 less AP. Slimer Maggots, 1 less AP. Brain Leech, again, 1 less AP. Spine Banks are the same. The towels are gone. -1 damage is gone. Blistering Assault is now the Corn Berserker thing. If they get shot, they move D6 +2 towards the nearest enemy. Screamer Killer, once the go-to loadout. 2 inches less move. 2 more toughness, 1 more wound, Bioplasmic Scream, D6 +3 instead of D6, 2 less AP, still blast and can still use it even if it advanced. But it's lost Terrifying, it's lost Armored Exoskeleton, and it's lost Blistering Assault. That's for normal Carnifex only, it seems. Death Scream, though, causes a Battle Shock test at -1. So that could be good to spook a unit on the objective and allow this guy to snatch it after yelling at them, especially if you pop Shadow in the Warp with it as well. Actually, I don't know if they stack. I'll have to look into that. Not a fan of the model though. The limbs are reminiscent of the Keeper of Secrets pose, and I know Tyranids can absorb genetic traits from those they consume. Why did this thing absorb male pattern baldness of all things? Hiveguard, once the great go-to guys for solid indirect rain of doom from above. 1 more toughness. The Impaler is again indirect and doesn't need a spotter anymore. I like. 12 inches more range. Very nice. 4 shots instead of 3. 1 more strength, 1 less AP and damage. +1 to hit if stationary to offset that indirect penalty. They might actually be back. The Shock Cannon. Damn! 2 up auto wounds on vehicles, 1 less AP, but otherwise the same. That's way better than the 4+ auto wound and 1 mortal, but then again lower AP might make the loss of that mortal really be felt. High armor vehicles are going to be shrugging this off, so it might be best reserved for things with thinner metal skin. But wait, what's this? Overwatch is 5 up, 4 up if they are on an objective. Now that's tempting, especially because they don't have to be the ones being charged. So long as they are within 24 inches of the enemy, they can be the ones firing Overwatch. Indirect with 50-50 to hit. Nasty stuff. Tyranofex. 4 more toughness, 1 less wound. Acid Spray is basically the same. Fleshborer Hive is 20 instead of 30 shots, but 6s are an extra hit, re-rolling 1s, +1 to hit if stationary. Rupture Cannon, +1 to hit if it doesn't move, 1 less shot, 4 more strength, oof, 2d6 instead of d6 +4 damage, yikes, quite the buff. Oh, I stand corrected, this one keeps the -1 damage that all the Carnifex lost. Onto the Tyrannocyte, 2 more toughness, 5 less wounds, 1 more armor. All the weapon options are out, now it's just a standard profile, which is a Death Spitter with more attacks, less AP and less damage. Hive Crown. Dude, half the move. 2 more toughness, 1 less wound, weapons are pretty much the same, hard to hit is gone, but Hunter's Instincts remains. The Harpy, same as the Crone, a bit more toughness, but half the move again. Sporocyst, 3 more toughness, 1 more armor, 1 less attack. It no longer grants Synapse, but if an enemy ends their move within 24 inches of it, it can let them have it with its bioweapons. Ouch! That's a decent deterrent. When it says no trespassing, this thing means it. And it can also seed nucleoids as well. The Psychophage, another bioform fresh from the hive mind. Disappointed. I was expecting some sort of alt-tervigon, something that eats and then spawns new beasties. Seems it's a standard non-monster that's good at eating psychers, grants a 6-up ignore wound loss, and is empowered by attacking depleted units. We'll see what the points cost is. Barb Gaunts? Nice tar pit, reducing charge and move. +1 to hit if they stay still, good for slowing up those fast-moving units coming at you like Cleopatra. Okay, that's it. Basically, AP is down across the board, toughness on the big stuff went up at the cost of some wounds, some long-time retirees like the Hive Guard are back, and some, like the Death Spitter, are taking their place on the shelf. Definitely more streamlined, but at the cost of some fun fluff like Hive Fleets and Relics. Intrigued to see what the points costs are, but I'm looking forward to bringing the bugs back.